Howdy, and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Gonna look at a little something fun today. This is Monogram's Flapjack from 1973. It's kit number 7503-0103. And ScaleMates surprisingly lists this as a 148 scale kit. I'm not sure where they came up with that, or if that's just a joke. But the Flapjack originated from a Mattel design that was sent over to Monogram. This is in the era when Mattel was kind of running the show and was kind of shifting Monogram a little bit more towards toy-like model kits. And this is one of the products of that. So they had an undeveloped toy of a plane with flapping wings that they sent over to Monogram. A gentleman by the name of Sil Wisnowski, something like that, designed the internals with an electric motor with nylon gears, and so they had this, the insides ready to go. And one day, Tom Daniel, who'd been doing a lot of work for Monogram for cars and hot rods, and he did like the Rommel's rod and a number of other like street machine kind of things. Had what was by the plant, and Sil showed him the mechanicals and asked if he could do something with it. So one of the directors, Bob Redder, turned over the design to Tom Daniels, and was told to make it more spoofy. So they were looking for a spoofy-looking airplane. So Tom Daniels drew inspiration from a comic strip called The Heap, which was a World War I German pilot who crashed into a swamp, became kind of a monster, and his airplane kind of took on flappy bird-like design. So he kind of drew some inspiration from that. You can see a lot of the F-85 Goblin kind of design is in this as well too. And a gentleman by the name of Joe Soika took Tom Daniels' ideas and made the model pattern, and they made it as a snap-tight kit so that way kids could assemble this. But according to Joe, the kit needed to be assembled very, very precisely in order for it to work. So I think a lot of these that were built by kids probably didn't work. But Tom came up with the idea of the base that you can kind of see on here being a shadow of the airplane itself. The one that Tom had created, this was painted black. And he also mounted it on this wire stand, which they noticed that when the engine was working and the wings were flapping, it was bouncing up and down on this wire stand. So they decided to keep that as part of the design itself. And last bit of information on it, Tom Daniel was a Navy pilot, or flew in the Navy. And I think Max over at Max's Models had mentioned that he flew S2F Stoofs. And so his one regret was that they did not make a Navy version of this, although he pitched it to him, and he did paint his model kit up in Navy markings. So that's a little bit about the background of the Flapjack. And as you can see here, we've got an original kit still sealed. This is the first issue from 1973. And we've got, it's typical of the early 70s kits, a photograph of the model, which in this case is probably a good idea to show you kind of what it was going to look like. So we've got the Snap Tight logo from Monogram they were using, unassembled kit. Snaps together, no gluing or painting, although you can see there is some painting being done on this one. Powered by 2 AA's that are included. Propeller spins, wings flaps, machine guns move back and forth, bounces around on swingy base. An actual photo of assembled model. On the side here, we've got the copyright date of 73 and the address for Monogram in Morton Grove, Illinois. Kit numbers down here. And then this still has the original price tag from Sears of $1.78, it looks like. This side we've got a couple more photographs of the completed model. Kit number again. Side view. Address again. And a couple more images. Nothing on the bottom. But we're not going to be opening this kit today because I have the later issue. This is the 1989 issue of the kit. And this one's still sealed as well. You can see they switched to artwork. This artwork was actually first introduced on the 1978 issue of the kit. The different kind of header, a little more square box like the original. But this one here, they went to a little bit more rectangular box, but maintained that earlier artwork. We've got what appear to be new photographs down in here. Kit numbers changed. Still the same Snap Tight logo. Some additional images on the side here. Got a barcode now. Again, additional images. This ends in France, or in French, I should say. And final images here with a little bit of information. Nothing on the bottom. So let's crack this bad boy open and see what we got. Right. 1980s air. Smells like Wang Chung. Okay, so let's see what we got inside this box. So we have a little 1989 new kits catalog. Not so sure how new some of these kits are. Maybe just new boxings. A lot of cars being represented here. X30 Supersonic. Okay. There are instructions. Oops. So before you begin, 2-size AA penlight batteries, tough molded and tough durable plastic. I believe this is more of a nylon plastic. So they must be cut off the trees with scissors or a sharp knife. They cannot be pulled or broken off easily. Do not remove the parts from the trees until ready to use them. Ask Dad for help if you get stuck, because Mom's not going to know anything about building a model kit, so make sure you ask Dad. And let's see, there's our kit number again. So it looks like starting off showing trimming off from the tree, your electric motor, installing your motor and your battery pack, getting your servos going, how to wire it all up, test your motor before sticking it all in. Here's your nylon gear mechanism, and some more gear parts on how it works. putting the guns in. Now the guns are moving back and forth by this, looks like this camshaft there. Installing the guns on top of the motor system. And then the jiggly parts of the motor. Let's see how complex this is. So it said 10 years old and up, but even a 10-year-old might have some difficulty with this. And then final assembly. And then pop it in the final parts. And where all the little sticker decals would be going. And I think that's some final bits here. Cover for the battery compartment. Here's your base. Put your prop on. How to start and stop it. Yeah, mounting it down if it's leaning too far this way or that way. Bending the spring. There you go. So that is your instruction sheet. So we got parts wise. Here's our decals. So the decals for the air farce are actually just stickers, peel off stickers. And these say 1989 copyright. So I don't know if this is recycled pollution. I don't remember that being on the old kit. So that may have been added. And here's all the kill markings. There we go. And here's our motor wires. Here's our springy base, our stand. Our one clear part. Pops in. One of the metallic parts here. And then open this up here. Smells like Teen Spirit. And here are the main parts. Got our battery and motor thing. Here's our battery cover, which kind of resembles a scoop on the bottom. Tail planes, molded on pilot, raised surface lines, a few engraved. But this is all that kind of rubbery, nylon or polyurethane maybe. I guess that would handle abuse from play a lot better. It's definitely floppy. And then here's the base and the wings. And that's the scoop on top of the engine. Here we've got a 1973 copyright on the bottom of this. There's copyrights on the inside here. No. And then we have some black parts. There's a separate bag here. This includes our propeller, same kind of bendy nylon-y kind of thing here. We've got our gear, engine parts, exhaust, some more gears. And here's the part for where the guns go on. And then finally the guns themselves. Now I remember building this in the 70s. Pretty sure my dad had a lot to do with the assembly. I remember these going pew, 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 pew. That was pretty cool. All right, so there you have it. That is your Flapjack. And this kit will be getting a build. In fact, right after we're done making this video, this kit's going to get a build. I want to put together a Flapjack and relive my childhood, so that is going to happen. So there you have it. That is your 1989/1973 Flapjack. This is the version I built, if I remember right. And so we're going to sacrifice this 89 issue one and hopefully get this thing working. Now, as far as other issues go, as I mentioned, this is the 73 one. The 78 one had this artwork with the revised naming on the top of the box, but I think it was still kind of a square box. And then we have this 89 one. Now, supposedly, I have heard that Atlantis has these molds. So it's possible that we may get a reissue of this again. I've heard two things as to why it hasn't been reissued yet. One is the type of plastic is something that either Atlantis is not able to handle, or the motors and the wiring stuff is something that they need to source. So could be one, could be the other, could be both those reasons, but hopefully they will be able to get it figured out. And this Flapjack can make it to the market again, because I'm sure there's a lot of guys who would love to build this and aren't interested in paying a ridiculous price for the original vintage ones. So anyway, that's about it for this one. If you've built one of these, definitely tell us about it in the comments section. If you got one sitting on your shelf, absolutely take a picture of it, send it in, and share it with our viewers. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and as always, have yourself a great rest of your day.